going to go straight into our study of Jewish spirituality and meditation. And we are wrapping up the first blessing we say before bread. I'm just going to give us another 10 minutes or so. So if you're still with me, hang in there, folks. We're doing a Hebrew word diaries where we are. Thank you, Susan Benson on YouTube. We are doing a Hebrew word diaries. The purpose of this Hebrew word diary is to make you intimately familiar with the various words of davening, so that you can become intimately familiar. So davening will start to become a meaningful experience. And we've already collected. Thank you, Mickey, for posting me your cookie, Elaine's email address. What I've posted over here is the first 12 words. It's actually 13. We had another one yesterday. The first 12 words of our Hebrew word diary. I'm going to add the 13th word right now. The word was olam. And we learned the reading of the word yesterday. We said it means world or forever. And the meaning was space and time. It also meant concealment. And that was the meditation that we learned yesterday. That's our 13th word on our Hebrew word diary. So I want to encourage you to keep your Hebrew word diary and to make sure that you continue to evolve your Hebrew word diary so that you can that you can use them on flashcards. You can use this Hebrew word diary on flashcards. So that way, as you evolve, you're actually going to make these words yours. You are actually going to understand Hebrew. By the time you finish this course, you will be able to actually have a Hebrew conversation because your Hebrew reading is so fundamental. Your understanding of Hebrew is so fundamental. You will actually be able to understand or make a basic conversation in Hebrew as a result of this course. So it's complementary to Corey's course. Corey gives a much more patient, much more detailed, focused course on the actual, she goes through the various parts of davening, which is very beautiful. She's doing Tehillim right now. And I want to encourage you to join her class on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 11:30 a.m. on Zoom. The Zoom link is in the Friday email from the show. But this one is a 3-tiered course, which covers ability to read. Number 2, translating one paragraph of davening. And number 3, meditation of that part of davening. Of those words. So when you meditate on your Hebrew word diary, you're able to take that meaning of the word and apply it to anywhere else that you ever see that word. So that way you'll be able to meditate upon the word every time you see it. So I'm not going to do the review. You can look at all of these classes that you missed on YouTube. If you go to the Chabad Palm Beach Gardens page, it's youtube.com/Jewish Gardens. You just go there, youtube.com/Jewish Gardens, and then you go to the playlists. You go to the playlists. Over there, you will see the playlist for the Hebrew what's called the Jewish Spirituality and Meditation course, which is through prayer. And you'll see all the previous classes, about 5 or 6 classes that you might have missed, and you can just review them. And by doing them, you'll get all the meanings, the meditations, the understandings, the reading, the understanding, and the meditation of each of these past 13 or 14 words. And we're almost finished our very first one, which is the blessing we make before bread. Baruch atah Havaya. Baruch atah Havaya Elokeinu Melech haolam. We've done the first 6 words. And we're almost done the blessing. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz means who takes the bread out of the earth. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. That's what it means. But I want to actually take a bit of a tangent today, just one tangent, to explain to you the meaning of the words Asher Kiddushanu. When we bless God for food, we just go straight to the point. We say, blessed are you, on the literal level, blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who took the bread out of the earth. On a meditative level, it means revealed here are you, God, first person, who in your infinity are now revealed down in this physical bread that you've taken, that you're the master of the world, we've blown your cover, you brought the bread out of the earth. That's basically what we're saying on a meditative level. But I'm going to extend it. Whenever we do a mitzvah, we add Asher Kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu. Those are the 4 words we add whenever we do a mitzvah. So when it's blessings on food, you just go straight to the chase. You say, who took the bread out of the earth, who grew the fruits of the tree, who grew the fruits of the earth, who grew the fruits of the vine. That's what we say on food blessings. But when it comes to blessings of mitzvahs, we action mitzvahs, what we do is that we actually say, Baruch atah Havaya Elokeinu, melech haolam, asher kiddushanu v'tzitav v'tzivanu. Now the word asher is a preposition. Asher means that. It's asher. Asher means that. Just remember that word. There's nothing else to really think about there. I mean, there's some deep meditation. Don't forget, there's the tribe of Asher. The tribe of Asher, who was named for praise, because the most praised tribe of Israel was the tribe of Asher. Interesting. Rashi says he doesn't even know why, but they were the most praised tribe of Israel. So the word Asher can also mean praise, but it means that. It's a preposition, kind of boring. But moving forward, the next word, and when I say kind of boring, on a literal level, Asher means that. But you'll notice that when we go deep into meditation, very often the preposition gains meaning. Sometimes the word Asher means praise. For example, a quick example to meditate upon. When God concludes the Torah, he tells Moses, the tablets that you broke, Asher Shibarta. These are the last words of the Torah. So the commentaries, Rashi explains, Asher means thank you. Ishur means a permit in Hebrew. I guess we should really get into this word because it's really an important word now that I think about it. Ishur means a permit. So Asher means good job. Like if you go, when every Israeli soldier wants to shoot someone, he has to first get a license to kill. Can you imagine what a humane army that is? He has the radio and he's like, I see the target behind the car right now, between the house and the car, permission to kill. And they're like, okay, the headquarters over there somewhere, they say, checking, stand on hold, stand by. And they're like, okay, permission in 5, 4, 3, 2, take out the target, 1, blast off. And then they do the given ishur. That's how they kill, right? So the word ishur is a very important word, and oftentimes you'll find in the commentary, in the meditation of Torah or of prayer, you'll find that the preposition actually gains meaning. So the word would be like this. Aleph, we know this letter. Aleph is silent, right? The second letter we know is shin. How do we know it's a shin, by the way? You know how it's a shin? If the dot is on the right, it's a shin. If the dot's on the left, it's a sin. And a very easy way to remember that, very easy way is like this, is that if the dot, she is always right. Your wife is always right. She is always right. Your wife is never wrong. If she's on the left, if it's on the left, then it's a sin. If you don't listen to she, then it's a sin. Sin with an S. If the dot's on the left, it's a sin. If the dot is on the right, then it's a shin. She is always on the right. That's an easy way to remember it. That's the shin. And the left, that's the third letter. We've learned this letter before in this course, is the reish. The reish does not have a dent on the back of its head. If it had a dent on the back of its head over here, it would be a dalit. When it's rounded on the back of its head, it's a reish. By the way, if you haven't done this already, go to RIIH in the App Store or the Google Play Store and download RIIH, which means read it in Hebrew. And this word now means that on a deeper level. It means praised. But the word I really want to get into today is kiddushanu. We all know this word kiddushanu. Kiddushanu is kiddush, kedusha. When we do the repetition of the Amida, we say kedusha. When somebody passes away, what do you say? What's the memorial prayer called? It's called kaddish. Why are all these words the same word? Kaddish, kedusha. After the service, we have a kiddush. We make kiddush. And in our blessing, we say Asher Kiddushanu. The word Kiddushanu really all comes from the root. By the way, a wedding is also called Kiddushin. A wedding is Kiddushin. So what's the connection between all of these words? So first of all, we're going to have to read the word just very quickly. I'm going to try to do the reading of this word very, very quickly. Kiddush. Here we go. Okay, this is our 15th word, I think, in our Hebrew word study. So first of all, here it is. The word is kuf. Kuf is like an elderly person. It's like an old man carrying a cane, old woman, old man, carrying a cane. It's an old man. It's like hobbling along. That's the kuf. Kuf is the cane. You see the cane at the bottom? That's how you remember the letter kuf. The next letter is the Dalit. The Dalit has the dent as the back of its head as opposed to the Reish, which has no dent at the back of its head. This one is rounded, so it's a Reish. This one has a dent at the back of its head, so it's a Dalit. By the way you do this is you just download the RIIH app in the App Store or the Google Play Store, and you just go through the app. Just go through it over and over and over and over and over and over. And if you do it a few times a day for maybe 3-4 weeks straight, you will know how to recognize the Hebrew letters. It's so easy to read Hebrew. You can do it. You can make it your quarantine resolution to read Hebrew, not just to survive, but actually to thrive through your quarantine. I want to welcome Liat Malka Brook. Liat, daughter of Yosef Malka, who's a dear member of our shul. He left to Green Acres, but Liat is with us. Great to see you, Liat. Helen, I'm thrilled that you love the explanation. The third letter of our word Kadosh is here. We just did this letter. By now, you should be a pro at reading this third letter, because remember, if it's on the right, she is always right, and she is never wrong. That's the rule. Like Mickey always says. Mickey says that he always has the last word in his home. Always. And the last word that Mickey always says is, yes, dear. Your wife is always right. A happy wife is a happy life. Even if she's wrong, she is right. So the dot on the right is a shin. The dot on the left is a sin. So make sure that you know this word, and this is how you spell it. Kadosh. Very, 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 very fundamental word for us to incorporate today into our Hebrew word diary. We've added word number 14 was Asher. I'm going to write it on the board in a moment. And word number 15 would be Kadosh. Now, the word Kadosh has a lot of meanings. It comes up all over the place. If you can own this word, you will have you'll have advanced many, many, many light years in your progress of Jewish Torah study and spirituality and spiritualizing your prayer, because you understand what it means. The word Kadosh, we now know how to read it. It means, you ready for this? The word Kadosh actually means, here it is again. The word Kadosh means separate. That's what it means. Separate. It means separate. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, hey, Rabbi, I thought it meant holy. I thought Kadosh meant holy. And you are right. Kadosh also means holy. But the reason it means holy is because it means separate. Allow me to explain. When something is special, it doesn't mingle with everything else. Like the crown jewels in the Tower of London. They're not just there for everybody to just try them on and to feel them and to model the crown jewels. You don't touch the crown jewels. They are separate. They are aloof. It's like the king and queen, whatever. Is there king and queen of England, whatever? The monarchy, they live behind Buckingham Palace gates. You never actually get to shake their hand. I mean, by invitation only. You're separate. When something is special, it's separate. And notice what happens now. All of the above words are all going to have the same exact application of the underlying principles. We learned how to read the word Kadosh. We learned the translation, which is separate and therefore holy. When something is special, it's separate. But now we're going to go through the meditation of the word. Watch this. So because it means holy, therefore, let's start with marriage. What happens when you marry a woman? You now have sanctified her to you. You've designated her to you. She is only allowed to be with you. She's not allowed to be with anybody else, certainly not on an intimate level. And therefore, that's why it's called a kiddushin. Because, in fact, we say this in the blessing of marriage. We say, Asher osar lanu esar rusais lanu. No. Did I say that wrong? Asher osar lanu esar rusais lanu. Yeah, that's how I said it. Who forbade... whatever, without getting into the details of here, basically, when somebody gets married to you, they're forbidden to everybody else and only to you, and that's why they're called Kadosh. Kadosh could mean holy. And by the way, yes, Helen, you are holy. And your husband is also holy to each other. You're holy to each other. You're separate from everybody else. It's kind of like this quarantine. Think about it. We're alone together. We're a Jewish community, right? So we're all alone, but we are together through these virtual meetings that we constantly have in our community. We're constantly together even though we're alone. Socially distant, but spiritually together. And it's this paradox, which is the wedding as well. That on the one hand, you're separate from everybody else, all of humanity, because you're designated to each other. That's why you're holy. You're separate, but you're holy. Treat your wife or your husband as holy, and you'll reap all the benefits of the marriage. Somebody sent me a beautiful line. If you want your wife to treat you like an angel, then make sure that she feels like she's in heaven, because there are no angels in hell. If you treat your wife like hell, there's no way she's gonna be like an angel or behave or treat you like an angel. Make sure she's in heaven, and then she'll treat you like an angel. So treat your wife like she's holy, and everything else follows through. Therefore, what I'm saying is, so marriage, we're going through the meditation level here of Kadosh. Marriage means separate, because separate from all of humanity, and allowed only to each other. Shabbos, why do we make Kiddush in Shabbos? Because we're saying the reason we make Kiddush is to sanctify this day, to make it holy. At the beginning of Shabbos and at the end of Shabbos, we separate this day from everything else. From the mundane days of the week, we're saying this day is holy, and that's how we do it, through Kiddush, which means holy. Kedusha. Kedusha is when we're doing the repetition of the Amidah. We stop everything that we do. We put our feet together and we stand before God at attention and we say, holy, holy, holy. You are just the ultimate. It's like our station ID for a radio station. It's like saying you are listening to, even though we are running our ordinary lives, we stop, drop, and roll. We just stop everything that we're doing and we say, God, we salute you, we recognize you, you are the almighty power of the universe. We're saying, God, you're different to everything else. And the same thing happens when we say Kaddish in morning. When we say Kaddish, we're sanctifying the name of God. We're saying God is exalted and sublime. It is the affirmation of our faith. Remember, when somebody passes away, the mourner, what the mourner does is to maintain and perpetuate the connection between the deceased and God. When they can no longer maintain that connection because they're dead, then the living, the mourner, says Kaddish in order to affirm the faith, the belief between the deceased and God. That's what you're doing. You're making a declaration of faith. So you're saying God is great. You're saying God is holy. And that's the reason, that's the meditation of the word Kadosh, which means holy. So when we say Asher Kiddushanu, here's the kicker, and I'm going to conclude with this. When we say Asher Kiddushanu in the blessing, we're saying, thank you, God, for marrying me through allowing me to do this mitzvah. And that's the thought I'm going to leave you with today. Instead of saying, God, you're making my life miserable by giving me so many strict, harsh commandments, we're saying, God, thank you for allowing me to be married to you. Thank you for making me so special in your eyes. Asher Kiddushanu. The word Kiddushin means holy, means chosen, means alone together, like Helen is pointing out. We are one, you and I, through this mitzvah. And that's the meditation that we're doing. When I am doing what you asked me to do, you and I are married in the most intimate bond and beautiful connection. Don't say v'shver zu sein a Yid, how hard it is to be a Jew. Let us say v'zis es is zu sein a Yid, how sweet it is to be a Jew. I am married to the most powerful entity in the universe. Thank you, folks, for joining me this morning. Don't forget to join me tonight at 8:30 for the Zoom class on how to make a meaningful Seder. We hope to see you then. The link was sent out in Friday's email. Maybe we'll send it out again today. We'll see what happens. But in any event, looking forward to studying with you again tonight and tomorrow. And don't forget, by the way, to sell your chametz, folks. Don't forget to sell your chametz. You have to sell your chametz. You can't own chametz on Pesach. So you got to make sure to sell it. The way to do that is you sell it to me. I'll sell it to a Gentile. The Gentiles are allowed to own the chametz on Pesach. So therefore, go to jewishgardens.com/set-me-free. That's jewishgardens.com/set-me-free to sell your chametz online to make sure that you are observing kosher Passover this year. What can someone do who needs to say Kaddish? Says Warren. I think you meant Kaddish or Kiddush. It needs to say Kaddish. I actually wrote a letter yesterday about what do you do when you can't say Kaddish. Remember the purpose of saying Kaddish, Warren, is to perpetuate the connection between the deceased and Hashem. If you don't have a minyan, you can't say Kaddish. So what do you do if you can't say Kaddish? What I tell you to do is to give tzedakah, because when you give charity, you are causing the greatest bond between Hashem and the deceased. You're giving tzedakah in the memory of the deceased, and therefore that is the greatest mitzvah that we can do. It encompasses every aspect, every fiber of our being. When you earn the money to give to tzedakah, you're sublimating all of your being. You're doing this in the memory of a loved one. When you give tzedakah, that is the ultimate representation of Kaddish, of sanctifying and elevating the soul of your loved one. Quick story to conclude with, to answer your question. There was a rabbi Rabbi Levi Vilamovsky is a friend of mine from Kfar Chabad, Israel. When he was building the yeshiva in Migdal HaEmek in Israel, in the north, near Haifa, he was building this yeshiva. One of his parents passed away, and he wanted to say Kaddish 3 times a day, as is customary. So he asked the Rebbe that maybe he should take a hiatus from fundraising for the yeshiva for a year so that he could say Kaddish properly, because he would have minyanim. Otherwise, he would be traveling all year round. He'd be missing many minyans, and he wouldn't be able to say Kaddish for his parents. And the Rebbe said to him, absolutely not. You should continue to raise money, to travel, to raise money for the yeshiva, because the greatest Kaddish for your parents is not your saying Kaddish, but you're raising tzedakah money to build this yeshiva in memory of your parents. So by all means, Warren, give tzedakah instead of saying the Kaddish. God doesn't want you in shul right now. It is dangerous for you to be in shul right now. Don't go to shul right now. Rather, give tzedakah. You can do so remotely. You can do it online on our website, jewishgardens.com/donate. Heaven knows that we need it now more than ever. jewishgardens.com/donate, where you can make it via credit card or PayPal. Make your tzedakah donation in lieu of your Kaddish, and that is how you elevate the souls of your loved one in this time. Thank you, Alyssa, for your comment. Thank you, Dean. And with this, folks, I'm going to bid you a good morning, a farewell. We try to keep it down to 8:30 to 10 a.m. to respect your time. I know I go a little bit over time here, but that's because of the animated conversation. And with that, I'm going to let you go. Thank you, Susan Benson on YouTube. Thank you for joining me. Hope to see you guys tonight, 8:30, for the Zoom class. Shalom, and have a great day. Don't forget to email me if you have any questions to rabbi@jewishgardens.com. That's rabbi@jewishgardens.com. Have a great day. Be safe. Stay well.